Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining. This is Sabrina Paganoni, and I'm here from the HEALEY Center with Catherine Small and Alison Bullitt, our patient navigation team. We can go to the next slide. And as always, we are here for our weekly platform trial updates. But tonight we have a special guest, which I'm so excited to introduce. Next slide. So we have Vikram Nambiar from the University of Maryland, one of our sites. And so I'll turn it over to you, Vikram, to introduce your site to us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vikram. I'm the site coordinator for the HEALEY Platform Trial at the University of Maryland. If you do happen to screen for this study at the University of Maryland, then a lot of your communication with our site would be through me. So I'm happy to have the opportunity to speak today on behalf of our site, and I really look forward to speaking with anyone who's looking to enter the platform trial at the University of Maryland. So as you can see from this photo, this is one of the two entrances to the University of Maryland Medical Center. To the bottom right here, we have Dr. Ziliox and Dr. Jin. Dr. Lindsay Ziliox is our site investigator and lead physician in charge of your care during your time in the study at the University of Maryland. She's an amazing doctor, an amazing person. She really takes her time with her participants to make sure they're heard. She's been involved with this trial since we became an active site a little under 3 years ago now. So she's had a lot of experience. She's also the director for the neuromuscular division of the Department of Neurology here. So she works around the clock in clinic, at the hospital, at the VA next door. She's always on campus. She's very responsive and involved in every participant's experience here at Maryland. Dr. Peter Jin on the right-hand side is our co-investigator. He's also a part of the neuromuscular division here. He and Dr. Ziliox see platform trial participants here at the university, so you'll begin to get familiar with him or her if you do happen to screen here for the study in Baltimore. You can go to the next slide. So on the left here is a slightly old picture of myself and one of our study team nurses at the GCRC. The GCRC, or General Clinical Research Center, is the clinic in which we host this trial at Maryland. The staff at the GCRC are well-versed in clinical trials. Many studies at the university are run through this clinic. So I'll kind of give a short, brief interview of how a study visit at Maryland would go and a little bit of insight on the clinic. So when you arrive at the university, we'll either meet at the clinic or downstairs, and then I'll normally escort participants up to the floor of the clinic. If you're ready to go when you enter, we'll go right up. But if we're waiting on someone you came with to find parking, for example, or for any other reason, we'll just wait until everyone's ready to go. Once we get upstairs, we'll be met with one of these friendly faces on the picture to the right. At the clinic doors, we will head to a participant room. After reviewing the study consent form and getting all of your questions answered and consenting is complete, then we can begin your study visit, where Dr. Ziliox or Dr. Jin will kind of take over, start with an exam and all the other study procedures that follow. Just a little bit about the clinic. Our clinic rooms have TVs. They have their own bathrooms. If you're hungry, the clinic provides meals for breakfast or lunch. There are also some chain restaurants downstairs, as well as a hospital dining hall with constantly changing options for food every week. So, I mean, I've seen everything from sushi to Indian food to vegan bowls and fried chicken. So, really, whatever you choose to indulge in while you're here is totally up to you. But I know you'll find something you like. I think all of our study participants till date share the same opinion as I do about the research staff and the clinic. The study staff here in this photo are some of the nicest and most personable people I've met since working at the University of Maryland. Jennifer Marin, who's half of her face is cut out in that selfie, is kind of the lead manager for the entire clinic. They're really, really patient, so you'll never feel rushed during any of your visits. And we like to go at the pace that our participants are comfortable with, since we understand participating in a clinical trial is something new for many people. And we take really good care of everyone that comes in, including your family members and friends or anyone who may accompany you. So I make sure to keep in touch with all our participants during their time in the study, especially between visits, to make sure everything is going to plan and that you feel that your study experience is stable and safe. Just briefly going over my time in the study, my experience working in the HEALEY study so far has been awesome. The investigators, myself, study staff, all of our study participants till date feel like there is a real promise in the study, and we all have faith that we're making progress with every visit. So if you see us here in Baltimore or you screen elsewhere in the state or in the country, I'm sure that you'll be looked after, and have the opportunity to take part in this enormous effort with tons of support from the study teams as we all like work diligently to navigate through this battle against ALS. If you have any questions about the trial, specifically at the University of Maryland, I'm happy to answer them. On the next slide, I also have my email listed in the bottom corner, as well as my phone number, if anyone happens to think of a question later after this session. But yeah, that's University of Maryland. And again, my name is Vikram, so thank you.
Thank you so much. And really the reason we love having coordinators and physicians from different sites is that so that you can see, you can get a flavor of really the faces that are the people that are really helping us across the country. You see us every week, but the reality is that participating in the trial really means meeting a number of teams, such as the one at the University of Maryland, who are really dedicated to the trial and to research. So thank you so much, Vikram. And we'll take a few questions for you right after our usual quick weekly update. As you know, we are enrolling for 2 regimens. And so if you're interested in enrolling in Maryland or other areas, you'll know that you can enroll right now for F or G. These are the letters that indicate our 2 regimens that we are enrolling for at this time. Regimen F is supported by Calico AbbVie and Regimen G by Denali. Both are testing very interesting drugs that are targeting the integrated stress response. And we are happy that we are making good progress on enrollment. So if you can go to the next slide, you'll see our enrollment numbers. So whenever somebody comes in, that person will first have to consent to the master protocol. And we have consented over 400 people so far. And there's sort of a flow, a kind of a couple of steps that need to happen before somebody can actually get on study drug. So first, somebody needs to be assigned to regimen F or regimen G, and then that person will be randomized if eligible within the regimen. That means, once somebody is randomized within the regimen, that means that that person will be receiving study drug, which is either active or placebo. And so far, we have had over 300 people be already at the stage of receiving study drug. And as a reminder, we have a very favorable active to placebo ratio in this particular trial, which is 3:1, which is much more favorable than really any other trial. And we can do so because of the platform approach. Essentially, for every 4 people who enter the trial, 3 go on active and only 1 on placebo, because we can share placebo data across regimens. So everyone's participation is maximized and helps others as well. Next slide. Right now, we are enrolling at 63 sites. So really happy to have, really a large number of sites. We're adding the last few sites over the next few weeks. And so thank you, Vikram, and your team, as well as thank you to all the 63 sites that are providing access to this program. And I have to say, it's really, we have met many sites. We have had regional meetings where we go and meet with different sites, and also our annual meeting recently. And it's really joy to meet people who are really excited about the trial across the country. So hopefully, if you're interested in participating, you'll meet them in your location as well. Next slide. So this is the link and the QR code to our website. If you can share the website and the QR codes with friends, family, feel free to share all of these on social media. And really all of this is available to everyone who may have questions about who to contact. So today we have Vikram, he shared his email, but we have the emails of everyone across the country on this website. So it's an easy click to get to contact them. Next slide. And also, if you want to learn more about these drugs, I briefly mentioned that they are promising drugs, but we have a lot more information on them online. We have drug brochures, videos, a number of resources to learn more about what these drugs actually do. So I would refer you to those resources. And again, you can just follow the link or the QR code. Next slide. And as always, if you have questions and if for whatever reason you have any trouble getting in touch with your site, we also have Catherine and Alison. They're here every week with us on this webinar. And I'm also sharing the phone number and their email so that, you can contact the patient navigation team and really get connected to a site. I do want to put in a plug for the ALS link, which is our newsletter, also available at the QR code on the slide in case you want to receive news directly. So next week, we're going to start our monthly EAP series. We receive a lot of questions about expanded access. There's many expanded access protocols that are up and running. And next week, I'm very excited that Dr. Suma Babu, a colleague from Mass General, will be here to tell us more about these new initiatives. And we really wanted to provide a forum for people who have questions about expanded access, to have a place where to ask live questions. And so we're going to offer that starting next week, although we always take questions every week, really. And we have been receiving questions about EAP. So you can ask questions anytime. But we also want to have a dedicated webinar, especially with updates on new studies. And then the following week, we are hoping that's still to be confirmed, but we should, I think it's going to happen. We really love having our scientists from industry partners on this webinar, and we're going to have our colleagues from Denali. They are working on Regimen G, and they're going to do an update on the science supporting Regimen G. We already had them here as guest speakers, and I had to say that those scientific webinars are always our most viewed webinars, most successful webinars. I know that we have literally over 1,000 viewers for each of these science webinars. So that's fantastic. And because they're really of such great interest, we want to have the researchers back. So if you have any questions that you want to ask live about Regimen G, the opportunity is November 16th. If not, again, we also have the recorded material from previous webinars. And then we will not have a webinar on Thanksgiving Day, but then we'll sure be back after that. And so with that, I think that we can start taking questions. So I see a question here about what are the side effects of drugs in the platform trial? Well, each drug that's in the platform trial was tested before in different populations. So depending on the specific drug, it could be healthy volunteers, it could be smaller groups of people with ALS, or also groups of people with different neurological diseases. So for the current drugs, they have been tested already in healthy volunteers and in smaller studies of people with ALS. And so they have seen some side effects that we still have to learn more about, because obviously from smaller studies, we don't even know that some of those side effects are really due to the drug, or somehow, again, are also common occurrences like headaches or things like that. So we have all the materials online where you can see, again, all the recordings of those webinars, and you can find, if you want to have more detailed information, and we have also the brochure, so with information about that by drug. And I see that Catherine has posted lots of great information. So thank you if you're watching this live, check out the chat box. And I think we have a couple of questions for Vikram. So let's say that somebody is interested in starting on the platform trial at your site. How quickly can you get them in?
So at our site, first what we'll do is you'll communicate through me, most likely, unless you already are a participant or a patient, I guess, at the University of Maryland, or you're in the University of Maryland or Maryland medical healthcare system. And if you had been seen by Dr. Ziliox or Dr. Jin, then it would be a lot quicker, because then they would kind of connect me to you. But if not, you would reach out to me over email, phone number, however you whatever is most appropriate or easiest for you. And then I would say, in terms of a time frame, as soon as Dr. Ziliox or Dr. Jin are able to kind of see your health records, it could be anywhere between a week to 2 weeks, really. It can be even shorter if the records are sent to us quicker. Like I said, if you had gone to or were involved in any of the medical centers within the Maryland system and your records are on Epic and we're able to access them quickly, then a matter of pre-screening and looking through your records by Dr. Ziliaks or Dr. Jin could happen within a couple of days. So it really just depends how quick the records are able to be sent to us. And then I would say definitely in terms of hearing back from me, you would hear back at least within a few days from when we receive the records about scheduling. And then depending on how busy the clinic is, it could be potentially maybe 2 weeks to a week from when we first spoke.
Great. So basically a couple of weeks, again, this could be a little faster if you have already been seen in clinic, or a little slower if you take some time to get the medical records from a different hospital, but that's great news. So essentially what you're saying is that you have spots, and so you have capacity, which is wonderful. And I know that people are following us from different areas around the country, and we are aware of some cities perhaps having obviously more densely populated areas may have a little bit of a longer wait, but other cities are really, very fast in terms of being able to enroll new participants. I will say that sometimes we help people kind of triage and get to the to a closer center, or maybe the second closest that does have capacity. So for example, I can say, for example, in the Boston area, we have more than one site. And so we definitely have capacities both at our center, but also across the 3 sites that are really within driving distance. If somebody wants to get in, we also collaborate with local physicians. And I know that different areas do the same, where there's more than one area, Philadelphia, New York, or etc. So there are options, I guess, to get in. And so another question for you, Vikram. So how do you or your physicians help potential research participants decide whether to enroll or not?
Okay, so obviously that's a little bit more of a nuanced question because it's totally up to you as a participant after looking through the consent form and seeing what the study entails, whether you want to participate or not. But Dr. Ziliaks and Dr. Jin could definitely provide some sort of context or answer any questions about what the experience would be like and what to expect, which might help you come to a conclusion a little sooner. As far as obviously making the decision for you, that would be completely up to the patient or participant at the end of the day. But I would say that if your records were sent to us and Dr. Ziliaks and Dr. Jin saw that you were eligible, they would most likely, push for the direction of being screened if this trial is something that you're interested in, for sure.
Thank you. So there's a question about EAPs. So the question is whether some of the Biogen drugs will have an EAP, specifically the Ataxin. I actually don't know. I don't know that. That's something that I guess you can ask Biogen. And I know that we are starting new EAPs, but for other drugs. Few questions, actually, to kind of a segue to this. So the question is whether there was one of the drugs in the platform trial that was associated with beneficial effects in terms of speech production. Yes, that is correct. That was regimen D. The drug is predopidine, and it is going to be available via expanded access. In fact, I would encourage you to join us next week. Dr. Babu will present an update on that. We have one large NIH-funded EAP already up and running, and we are adding more, including the one for predopidine, which is the one that you were asking about. So thank you for your question. It was a good question about the trial participant, somebody who is participating in the trial, in the platform trial right now, and has been in the trial for about 5 months. And so the question is, how is the trial going? And is there any preliminary information or preliminary results from the trial? Well, we really do not. I know it's a difficult concept, but we really are completely blinded to any effects or results until the end of the study. So we really don't do any analysis, and that's how clinical trials work. But we do quality checks. Certainly, there is a lot of monitoring and kind of quality assurance and checks in terms of the quality of the data, but we don't calculate results. Now, I will say that there is a completely independent group that we're kind of firewalled from that does safety reviews, and they can actually see the real data in real time. But we don't discuss the results. So they just tell us, is there, a safety concern, for example, that would warrant us, would warrant trial termination, and that could be, they can do that. They have the power to recommend that we stop the trial if there is a safety concern. But again, they do it completely independent from us. So we don't see those results. So I know it takes some time to get the results, but essentially, you know, once kind of all participants have completed the study, we will see the results kind of all together at the end in kind of in one shot. I will say that we have a lot of data management going on right now. So the programs, the statistical programs to analyze the data are being prepared. But again, we won't kind of hit the button or see the results until the very end. Okay, so I think we took all the questions for tonight. Vikram, I'll leave you the last word if you have any comments that you want to share about your participation in the trial, or any suggestions to those who may be considering it.
Yeah, I mean, this trial, like I said, my experience in this study has been amazing till date. Everyone in this study is very supportive, whether we're talking about people at our site or the people on this call and the entire team coming from MGH. So I really do encourage that if you have the opportunity to participate in this trial at any site, whichever one is the closest to you, definitely at least go for it. You know, see how it goes. The worst that could happen is that you're not able to enroll in the study. And the best thing that could happen for you is that you're able to join this fight and see if we can find something that is going to help battle ALS. But yeah, I really encourage anyone that has the opportunity to enroll in the study to try to get involved, because it is an amazing effort. And all of the participants we've had till date have been happy with how the study has been going, and the quality of the study and the support and everything like that. So
thank you, and thank you so much for offering this to people in the Maryland region. There is one last minute question that just came in. So again, since I mentioned the drug from regimen D, predopidine, and I mentioned that in our when we analyzed the results, we saw that it had positive effects on speech, and the question specifically is that if whether the results were seen only in bulbar palsy patients, or I guess in all patients, and I can say it was in everyone. So actually, we have a webinar that you can view on our website, where we explain the results from regimen D. And actually, last minute question, another last minute question for you, Vikram. Do you have any expanded access in Maryland?
we have expanded access for the Trailose infusion study. So we are enrolling for that. We've been activated for that. So yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for that. And so, yeah, again, if you have questions about sites, again, Maryland is part of that. But then we also have new sites and new programs for other drugs, including predopidine. So we will also have the manufacturer of predopidine come back to for a science webinar in January. So if you have any additional questions about predopidine, please check back when the scientists from predopidine come back in January. We'll let you know when that is on one of these Thursday webinars. And also next week, again, we will have an EAP webinar, so that we, we don't have the list of the sites of all the new new EAPs, but we're gonna, we're working on updating or revamping the website, so that then you'll be able to see exactly which sites offer what EAP, because now EAPs will become available at several sites. Certainly we already have about 20 for trials, and then we'll have more for other programs. So definitely this is becoming really more available. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week with Dr. Bau. Thank you. Bye-bye.